mentioned short trees. The trees haven't had time to develop into the full sizes we see now. No California red oaks, I assume. So do we have like fossils of the short trees, or do we just assume out of, oh, well, there's only been this much time since the flood that, of course, the trees are short, or after Genesis, there wasn't enough time for the trees to get supermassive?
Yeah, I can answer that question. The evolutionists themselves
Pull it down just a bit.
they try to infer the extent of trees by looking at fossil pollen and things like that. Mm-hmm. Okay, now what's interesting is if you start doing a search online, and this is what I did, and the reason I did this search was because I knew that based on the flood, there shouldn't have been many trees during the Ice Age, or at least thick forest, because it takes thick forests a long time to grow up. Mm-hmm. So I just got on the internet. I mean, I'm a physicist. I'm not even a paleontologist, okay? I just get on the internet and start doing these searches, and I find all of these technical and popular level articles where they say thick forests were incredibly rare during the Ice Age. Mm-hmm. And they all, pretty much every continent, with the possible exception of Antarctica, okay? But you find that during the Ice Age, there were lots of shrubs, grasses, but the evolutionists themselves say that the thick forests were rare. And I'm saying that makes perfect sense in light of the flood, because it's going to take hundreds of years for thick forests to grow up. The evolutionists themselves are saying that thick forests are rare during the Ice Age, and they are mystified by that, because not only are the thick forests missing from places where the glaciers were, they're missing from the places where the glaciers weren't. Okay, it makes sense that you would think that the glaciers will pulverize and bulldoze the forest, right? But even when there was no ice cover, the trees still seem to be rare. So we're not making this up, okay? The thick forests during the Ice Age are rare, and the evolutionists admit this. Now, we think their age for the Ice Age is inflated, okay? But what they call the most recent Ice Age, we think is the only Ice Age, and thick forests were apparently rare at that time, which is exactly what you would expect from Scripture. We think the flood caused the Ice Age. We think there was a single Ice Age. There's not very good evidence for multiple Ice Ages. In fact, even if you believe there were multiple Ice Ages, you would not expect the evidence to be strong, because you're going to have glaciers, or they're going to come along and pulverize and destroy the geological evidence for previous Ice Ages, okay? So you can't really expect to see geological evidence for multiple Ice Ages. But we think there was one Ice Age. And basically, in a nutshell, we think that during the flood, there was rapid seafloor spreading. We think there was something called catastrophic plate tectonics going on, and that the oceans were much warmer at the end of the flood, maybe 10 or 20 degrees warmer than they are today. And as a result of that, you get a lot of evaporation that puts an incredible amount of moisture into the atmosphere. And so you're going to get rain, and you're also going to get snow at high latitudes and on mountaintops. Now, you need something else to get an ice age. You got to keep that snow and ice from melting during the summer. Okay, well, we know, based on recent observations of explosive volcanic eruptions, that you can get summer cooling as a result of those. Okay, and so we think that during the flood you had a lot of volcanic activity, and that activity persisted for hundreds of years. It was gradually decreasing in intensity, but those aerosols were being put up into the stratosphere, reflecting that sunlight to give you cool summers to keep the snow and ice from melting. And so basically the flood was the trigger for the ice age. Our best estimate is that it probably lasted at about 700 years, and that as the oceans cooled off and the volcanic activity went down, eventually the ice age came to an end. But the ice age fits very naturally into a biblical worldview.